Ready? Thank you very much, Madam Chairman, Professor Bertassini. I want to say thanks to the organizing committee for this very special final conference for their project, the Tropicsafe project. And I'm pleased to be associated and be affiliated with this august body. The presentation, I want to recognize all the persons online who are logged in from Jamaica, my family, my colleagues, colleagues from Cardi, and colleagues also from ITC International Trade Center out of Geneva. The presentation is the overview of lethal alien disease in the world. It's going to be done by myself and Professor Assunta Bertassini. You go to the next slide, please. So coconut lethal alien, which is the disease of prominence in the world as it relates to coconuts. It was first reported in the Cayman Islands in 1834 and in Jamaica in 1884. And it's, there are several such diseases, lethal diseases around the world, spread in Americas, Asia, Oceania, and also in Africa. Let's look briefly at coconuts. There's a famous South Sea saying, he who plants a coconut tree plants food and drink, vessel and clothing, home for himself and heritage for his children. And that encapsulates very briefly the importance of the coconut tree to many persons around the world. Coconut is a monocot. It's the only living species in the genus Cocos. Although it's called coconut, it's not a nut. It's a drupe. It's a fruit. For those who are not familiar with coconut tree, it terminates into a crown of leaves, roughly 30 to 40 leaves in a healthy crown, and you have within one leaf, you have many leaflets, but you have roughly in total 200 to 250 leaflets. It has no outer cambium, so it can't repair itself when it's damaged. So that's why when you cut a coconut tree, it remains, the damage can be seen for years. It's monoecious, meaning that it has both female and male flower on the same tree. Continue, please. In terms of global production, 60.5 million tons of coconut is produced on 12 million hectares around the world. I just want to bring your attention to what we have been contributing from the Caribbean, Latin America, and the Caribbean, which would be about 0.6 million hectares and 5.3 million tons. Continue, please. Issues relating to the coconut industry worldwide, and these are general issues. Pests and diseases, predial larceny, high cost of inputs, low germination rate, insufficient planting material, production of disease-resistant materials. Continue, please. So specifically, we want to zoom in on the lethal alien disease and a brief symptomology of the disease. You have premature nut fall, necrosis of the inflorescence, yellowing of the leaves, browning of the leaves, depending on the variety, and you have the telephone pole. Continue. Where it is located around the world, the map here from FAO 2016 actually tells the story where the disease is. It's a main pandemic disease affecting coconut worldwide. Lethal alien disease is a phytoplasma disease. Lethal alien disease syndromes are found in West and East Africa, and phytoplasma disease is associated with coconuts in Southeast Asia. You would have recognized, known in recent vintage the Bogia disease in Papua New Guinea. Continue. In the region, in the Caribbean region, we have many areas that are affected by lethal alien disease. Let's start with Florida. Florida is one area that is affected by the disease. You have also a sort of lethal disease also in Texas that affects not coconuts in Texas, but other palms. You also have in Mexico, you have it in Belize, Honduras. It was recently found in Guatemala, in Dominican Republic and Haiti. You also have it in St. Kitts and Nevis, Barbuda and Antigua, and you also have it in Dutch and French St. Martin. Continue, please. We have various strains, or no, what I would say, not various strains. We have one basic subgroup of phytoplasma that dominates the Caribbean region. And that subgroup is A, so it's 16SR4A. And you also have B and D, as is reported from Mexico. And you can see the authorship of those persons who have actually discovered the disease in the various areas.
Yesterday I came.
Continue.
Professor, I just taken I just forgot to.
You also have various. Could you, the person who is who is talking, could you mute your microphone, please? You also have this various subgroups in Mexico. Mexico have found D. And as I said to you before, in the Caribbean area, the dominant subgroup is A. Continue, please. And here, I will hand over to Professor Bertassini to continue the presentation.
Thank you, Wayne. I just enter a little bit more technically because we have a little news. Finally, you know that the phytoplasma are classified as a ribosomal group, as Wayne explained to you, but also as candidatus. So this is the picture with the name we have now for the different phytoplasmas in the different area worldwide. You see that the one Wayne was speaking about in Caribbean area is now finally getting his name, that is Candidatus phytoplasma palme. It is published. The paper should be already on the web. I didn't have the time to check. So this is showing you better how homogeneous is the area of Florida and Caribbean for the population of phytoplasma, even if there are several different subgroups. In Africa, you had one candidatus already since some time. It is Candidatus phytoplasma palmicola, different group from the one is in the States, 22, A and B. But also in the same paper I mentioned, we were able to officialize also another candidatus for Africa, that is Candidatus Cocos Tanzaniae. That seems to be a group 4, like the one in the Caribbean, but I think more work should be done by the experts. Then we go to the east part of the world, where India and all the eastern part in the island, they are suffering also from a yellowing in palm and in coconut palm. In the Indian subcontinent, enclosing Sri Lanka and India, you have mainly group 11, that is Candidatus phytoplasma oryzae, and also Sri Lanka's group, there's a little mistake, is 14, Candidatus phytoplasma cynodontis. And then there are other candidatus like, okay, cynodontis is also in other areas. And we have a Candidatus phytoplasma novoguineense described with the recent, I think is the most recent epidemic in Papua New Guinea, where the phytoplasma is not only attacking or infecting palm, but also bananas, if I understood it well. So it is quite a very strong strain. If we continue, the Tropicsafe project was working mainly in the Caribbean area and in a couple of areas in Africa, I mean, West and East Africa, Ghana, and Mozambique. This is a summary of what I just told you from the perspective of group. I hope you are not getting confused by this. The idea is just to tell you that the disease severity and symptomatology is more or less the same all around the world, but the phytoplasma associated are different. As far as I'm understanding from the expert, the little yellow wing is Candidatus phytoplasma palme and also palmicola. The other are a kind of related disease. We don't know if this is epidemiologically founded, but in any case, it is helping us to try to find more about epidemiology to manage better this disease. This is just to highlight, we worked in Africa, but since there are presentations about the rest, and this is an overview, I take a few minutes to explain you something I was working, but a group from Canada was doing in Ivory Coast a few years ago. During surveys for finding the situation in that area, the Candidatus phytoplasma palmicola was detected, and also some possible insect vector and alternative host plant. But I want to draw your attention to the fact that in this epidemic in Ivory Coast, beside the Candidatus phytoplasma palmicola, we also were able to detect other phytoplasmas that are Candidatus phytoplasma asteris and Candidatus phytoplasma solani, group 1 and group 12. And here you can see in more detail this finding, and you can see how Ivory Coast is near to the Ghana. And we will know more about the Ghana situation later by the person working with us in this project. Let's go to the next one. By this previous project, it was possible to find a possible insect vector for this phytoplasma in Ivory Coast, Nedotepa curta, and a couple of plants that are infected by the palmicola phytoplasma. During this project, we were also able to have a colony. What you see here on the left are colony of phytoplasmas isolated from this material from Ivory Coast, and they were identified as Candidatus phytoplasma palmicola, and this was the result. Here, I told you in the project, as Wayne explained to you, we are also working on the Caribbean area, and there is something more than what is said. The project was mainly working in Mexico, Cuba, and Jamaica, but recently the disease was also found in Guadeloupe. I hope Fabian will speak about it, or somebody will mention it, just to show how it is spread. The Cuba situation will be presented later, but since we know already from yesterday, it is a recorded presentation. Cuba do not have access to this Zoom program, and so I don't know how good will be I am quickly presenting some of the main results we had in Cuba during this project. Cuba was already destroyed by little yellow in the past, almost 20 years ago. And by recent survey, we find out by sampling. This is that's called modern system of sampling. I learned recently, but this is not very convenient. It's not the old way. You have to collect a sample. Coconut or tall plant, you should not go up. We can just take some little tissue from the trunk, as you can see here. And this is useful for testing, and you are not destroying the plant. So by this recent repeated survey, we could confirm that in Cuba, as in the rest of the Caribbean area, there is a Candidatus phytoplasma palme that is, in one case, probably the leftover of an old epidemic, identical on another gene with the strain we have from Jamaica. but this is not a gene we use for classify to distinguish the subgroup. This is a DROEL that is helping to see the strain. In Cuba, there is only one place this strain, in the other are not differentiable on this gene. This is the result, but we can go quickly through this. You see, what I want to show you is that in Cuba, besides finding group 4 phytoplasmas, we also found other phytoplasmas in palm. Again, group 12, as I showed you in Ivory Coast before, and group 1, together with the group 7 that is Candidatus fraxine. So the message is that coconut palm are infected by little yellowing disease, but the phytoplasma you find there are more than one. If I remember now, the aster yellow Candidatus cytoplasma asteris, we were finding in oil palm, okay, is another crop in Colombia. It was severely associated with a machite letal, that is the name of the disease in that area. Let's go to the next one. Okay, this is the classification, the phylogeny. You see in color the different phytoplasma we found in Cuba. They cluster with different groups. But this I want to show you. These are colonies. I show you the phytoplasma we isolated from Africa. We were also able to isolate phytoplasma from Cuba. And this is Candidatus phytoplasma palme, but this was not isolated from palm. This was isolated from citrus. Those of you followed yesterday probably know already that we found Candidatus phytoplasma palme in citrus. So there is this, let's call interesting finding, because the Candidatus phytoplasma palme, I think, was very rarely found out of coconut. It looks very specific. In this specific situation, it was also found in citrus, and this is not presented here openly, we have to publish. It was also detected in some insect that is not the main vector of the disease, Aplaxus crudus. But you can have more about this in the last presentation of today, when I will show you the result of our study on microbiome. Let's go to the next one. Okay, no, before, quella prima. No, back. Just a moment, I am almost finished. No, back, l'altra, quella prima, le palme, questa. Sorry for the technical, I am not moving it, but Simone is very good in helping. This is a picture of Little Yellow. This is a place that was not mentioned before. Is a new area, is a small area of the world, is Equatorial Guinea. And we recently were able to detect in this outbreak the presence of Candidatus phytoplasma palmicola, but the strain 22A, that is, as you will listen later, mainly present in the west part of Africa, but here we are in the east part of Africa. In the east part of Africa, here we are on the west. I always mix it up, sorry for that. And so this is also another situation, and maybe there are much more we don't know, because it's quite complicated to reach all the parts of the world where these palm are grown. They are very important also for local economical subsistence for farmers. And so probably they are not aware when they found this disease, what it is and how to manage with it. I think I would leave the floor now to Wayne for the final.
Thank you very much, Professor Bertassini. And the last slide in this presentation, in concluding, I just want to bring your attention to the fact that not only do human beings appreciate coconut, or a good coconut to eat and drink. Also, you have the coconut crab that actually climbs the coconut tree, picks the coconut. When it fell to the ground, the crab would come down from the tree, husk the coconut. As you can see there, it's perfectly husked. And the shell would be broken by the crab, and the crab would eat the meat and drink the water. You know, this is other species are actually liking the taste of coconuts. On behalf of Professor Bertassini and I want to thank you very much online for listening, and for those who are present here in the room. Thank you very much. We are open to your questions.